Wednesday's motor vehicular collision between an SUV and a Viewfort omnibus at Praslin resulted in the death of the minibus operator, 28-year-old Greg Laura. Occupants of both vehicles, 4 in all, sustained injuries about the body. They were all treated and transported to the St. Jude Hospital. The cause of the collision remains unknown. Nevertheless, President of the National Council on Public Transportation, Godfrey Ferdinand, says some collisions cannot be prevented, such as in the case of sudden sickness or mechanical error. However, he says that there are some instances where accidents can be prevented simply by drivers being more cautious. Ironically, the NCOPT had a meeting with the police the day of the accident to address those very issues.
We are aware that the police hands are tied because as we speak, we still don't have what would we call breathalyzers and speed guns to equip the police to be able to stop somebody that is driving too fast. And that, I believe if we had breathalyzers, speed guns, maybe to check persons under the influence of alcohol or drugs, it would minimize the number of crashes we have on the road.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, in a statement on the alarming rise in road accidents and fatalities, announced that he would be having discussions with the Commissioner of Police to look into equipping police officers with speed guns.
There have been over 500 calls for accidents from the fire service. This actually is a waste of resources. And most of our healthcare problems and issues at the emergency ward is because of the wanton accidents that happen in this country. As a nation, we must take responsibility for our actions. This reckless driving is unacceptable and it must stop. And the police must ensure that they take measures to stop this recklessness and loss of lives on our roads.
Ferdinand says he believes that speed guns and breathalyzers would serve as a deterrent to reckless driving, thus reducing the number of collisions.
And I'm not saying that the accident was based on speed. I'm just saying we need to have enough things on the ground from both the police side as well as the association and National Council to be able to curb on the number of accidents we are having on the road right now. It's unfortunate that when a bus driver is in an accident, your 15, 14 persons' life are at risk. If it is a private vehicle, it's just maybe 1 or 2 or 4 persons. We are very concerned about that, and we know that there are reviews that have taken place in terms of the CDB reports and the recommendations that have been made. It means that maybe we would have to expedite some of the recommendations that have been made.
Some of these recommendations from the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, Sustainable Road-Based Public Transportation Study for St. Lucia, speaks to express routes, larger buses on some routes, and an upgrade of the public transportation system. Ferdinand says Wednesday's incident may mean that the council has to expedite some of these recommendations, but he says the organization will need government support in some areas. The NCOPT is saddened by Laura's death, but for Ferdinand, he lost more than a colleague. He lost a friend.
For me, it's colleague and friend because the dad is really a close friend of mine. When he comes into the office, sometimes we spend about an hour talking. So it's a friend and a colleague. So that's a major loss for us. We've lost, for the past 5 years, at least 3 persons on that road. And that, to me, is alarming.
The high number of road collisions have not only caused insurance premiums to rise, but also resulted in insurance company GTM no longer providing vehicular insurance. There have been over 500 calls for accidents to the St. Lucia Fire Service. Prime Minister Pierre noted that this is a waste of resources and most of our healthcare problems and issues at the emergency room are because of the wanton accidents that happen in this country. He warns that reckless driving is a crime and can be punishable by imprisonment and says the police must look into ways and means of enforcing the laws of this country. So far for 2024, there have been 16 vehicular accidents that have resulted in 22 road fatalities. There have been 240 serious vehicular accidents and 1,602 minor vehicular accidents. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.